I'm going to go through with you how to repot a violet. Right here, this is Rhapsody Ingrid. It's a newer one from Optimara. It's really pretty. Here's a little bit of the bloom. But first thing we're going to do is pull the bloom off. That's just going to let the plant focus its energy on reestablishing the roots and really growing into this new pot. I like to take off a row of leaves, especially this one. You can see there's kind of some of these smaller ones that are immature leaves that are under there. So those are ones we need to go ahead and take out. Or if you have any that are just, maybe they're drooping or just not looking so healthy anymore. It's kind of a big one. It's not wanting to fit in the screen here very well, but I'll do my best. And once you get this done, they really grow back, so don't be overly concerned about taking off these leaves. And I just kind of take a look at this symmetry too. Like, let's see if I can get a shot of that real well. I think this one, I'm gonna take this one off. When you're growing your violets, it's this rosette that you're looking for, and you can kind of see that starting, especially in the crown. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that for you. There. So as you're looking, you want to kind of see this pattern of threes. So like, let's see if I can. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This one's a little bit harder than some to see. It's kind of reaching up just a little bit. But you're looking like here's 1, 2, 3. And just you kind of want to establish that in the plant. It's a little bit easier when you're working with a less mature plant to kind of see that as it's growing and then keep your symmetry growing from there. But I'm just taking a look and seeing if there's any other leaves I want to take off. The other trick you can do is you can grab a piece of paper and you can kind of take a look at it. So I think I'll leave that one. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it the way it is right now. And then I'm gonna go ahead, you wanna make sure that down here on this neck where you took off those leaves, you really want to kind of clean that up in there. And you just take your nail and you scrape at it. Oh, the other thing you can look at too is when you're trying to decide what leaves to take off, you can kind of look down here and see if any of them, like if there's one that was coming out lower down here, that's obviously one of the older leaves that would need to come off. But really, even looking at this way, this looks pretty good as it is. And you can always take off more leaves if you need to later too. But I'm just cleaning this neck up real well. And then as we're repotting that, those roots are gonna grow out there. And here, looks like I've got about a 1/2 inch of neck there. And so I'm gonna just kind of eyeball the bottom of the root ball and cut that off. This is, I put a layer of perlite in the bottom. Let's see. I'm just gonna go take this over the trash can quick and scrape off the perlite. Well, here, I can do it here. And this is, I use Mason's line. I order mine online, but you can get it at Lowe's or any other home improvement store. And then I just take my scissors and I cut that 1/2 inch off from down here. And again, you don't have to be overly cautious about it, just take it off. Throw this in the trash. This is just some paper from like for moving, for packing up your stuff. It works pretty well for this. I just cut it down and use that. And the other thing too, on my label here, this is just white electrical tape, and then I use the industrial Sharpie, and I found that that works pretty well for not rubbing off or fading. So here is my pot. Just using a 4-inch pot, and I'm going to put the twine through the bottom, and then I just kind of grab it and hold it out over the side as I put perlite in the bottom. And then I fill it up about 1/3 of the way full with perlite. And kind of drape this over the top. And oh, I forgot to show you one other thing here with your potting mix. If you have something that works for you, stick with it. This is just a commercial blend that's mixed half and half with perlite, and I've been really happy with that. This is just a little dry, so I'm just adding a little bit of water and then mixing it up. And you want it where it just barely holds together in a ball. See, it's barely holding together there. And that's a good amount of water to have in your mix. So back to my 4-inch pot. I'm just gonna take, and where I cut the bottom of the root ball off, I'm gonna just stick this in there. And actually it looks like I probably had a lot of perlite in the pot before, so I'm going to go ahead and dump a little bit out, and I might take off a little bit more for roots too. So oh, and I forgot to say too, on that twine, or you can use acrylic yarn too, just the yarn like you'd get at Walmart or Joann's. So I just kind of loop that around underneath where I'm putting my plant. So then I'm going to put this back in and kind of see where I'm at. Again, it's not quite, you want it a little below the level of the rim, so that your leaves are just kind of barely at the lip. And this happens sometimes where you just kind of have to play with it. I don't always get the same amount of perlite in the bottom. Drop a little bit more. And this is part of why it's good to take off a row of leaves too. It just kind of gives that plant a chance to reestablish those roots, to really support itself, since you are cutting off roots as you're repotting it. And you know, actually I think I am going to take off this leaf here that I was questioning before. But here, and that is looking pretty good as far as sitting down in there. So now that I've got that in there, I'm just going to take some of my dirt here that I mixed up before, and I'm just going to carefully put that in underneath. I've got a spoon. Baby spoons work really well too. And then I just kind of fill that up on the top. Sorry, it's not on the screen. It's a little hard to get it here. But see, you can see I just kind of put that in underneath those leaves. Let's see if we can get a better shot of it. And it's really important when you are doing this that you make sure you get your plant in the center of the bowl or the pot, especially if you're going to be showing, because that's something you will lose points on, is if it's not centered. Plus it looks prettier that way. We like to look at things visually that are symmetrical, and it just really enhances the look of the plant when you make sure you have it centered in the pot. And it just takes a second to do. And then as I do that, you don't want to really push that dirt down, but just kind of lightly make sure it's kind of patted down a little bit in there, just so your plant's secure. And you want to make sure you get that neck covered. So the neck is where you scraped that main stem where you took those leaves off. Again, it's something that if you're showing, you'll lose points for, and it just really, it's making your plant look the best you can. And that is looking pretty good. Then you're going to want to make sure you get it labeled. I'll make up a label here in a second with the electrical tape. And then just make sure you kind of blow off your plant, get all that perlite off. You can also use like a makeup brush or a gentle paintbrush, just ideally one that's made from natural fiber, like a hair one. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot those over to me. Thank you. Bye.